Hello, winners. Now, the last time we had a chat with you, we agreed that we're going to be calling each other winners. Why? Because we are aiming to win in life. And the sooner we accept that we're actually winning, the better it's going to be for us, because then we will be working towards winning. So, winners we are. So, welcome to Joy Fido International. And here again, we've agreed that we're going to be telling you what our real mission is. Because from time to time, we review ourselves to see what it is we're actually doing. I mean, we still like to hear from you how we come across to you. But on my part, I believe I'm inspiring you to self-empowerment. Self-empowerment being, I want to give you all I know, the things I know that's helping me, with the mindset or with the hope that it will help you as well. So inspiring your self-empowerment. That's what we're going to be standing for here. But why do we get, or how do we get there? We're saying question everything. So when you question everything, it helps you to become stronger, to become wiser, to become more informed. And then what else follows that? You know how they say, knowledge is power, knowledge is wealth, knowledge is health. Anything you know, you become good at it. And once you're good at it, one of my favorite one, knowing gives you confidence. Knowledge is confidence. And once you have confidence, no one can stop you. You can fly as high as you want. And that's the bigger message we bring here every time we come to you. We want to empower you to self-empower you, or inspire you to self-empowerment. So today we're coming to you with some other exciting news, or not news, something exciting as usual, something to empower you. And we've also agreed going forward now that we're going to be coming to you on Wednesdays. So we're calling it our Wednesday Inspiration. Every Wednesday, something new will be coming from this channel. And so we want to say to you now to just click that notification bell so that as things are coming, you are the first to know, and you're listening and you're watching. So exciting times ahead. Again, we learn as we go along, because one thing we don't want to do is stay static in life. We just have to keep moving and improving on ourselves. And you know what they say, most times they will say to you, we evolve as a people. The more things happen to us, the more we look inwards, and the more we come up with answers. Okay, so what's our topic today then? Today our topic is called expectations, disappointments, and gaps. Quite an exciting topic. Because we've read some of your comments that you've been sending back to us, and on a general note, what we are hearing was, what about relationships? Relationships, we want to know more about relationships, husband and wife relationships, friends and family relationships. How do we deal with relationships that we're struggling with? So this is like an answer to those questions. Expectations, disappointments, and gaps. And this came to me from one of the things I studied in school. It was called the gap analysis. But what I usually tend to do is, when I hear something, I generally want to connect with what's happening in real life. And this gap analysis is all about, when we go shopping, we go to buy something, for us in particular, because I'm studying travel and tourism, it was about when you go and buy your tourism products, and what are they? You're traveling by air, your airline ticket, you go to restaurants, you buy food, you eat, you go to an event, there's something happening, you buy the ticket, you go for it. Now, before you buy that ticket, you have an expectation. you're going to Dubai, for instance. You've seen all the adverts about Dubai. You watched YouTube. You read blogs. You've heard people talking about all these amazing things going on in Dubai, and so you have this expectation in your head. And then you buy the ticket, and then you actually travel. Okay, so there are so many other times that go with it, but this is where it becomes interesting. When you actually experience Dubai, connected with the expectation that you had before you went to Dubai, did they match? Was it what you expected that you actually met? Or did it fall below your expectation? When it falls below your expectation, that becomes a disappointment. Because, oh my gosh, I thought it was going to be like this, and like you already had that high expectation. And then you got there, it wasn't what you were thinking, it was below. Things were not as they, you had it, you read it, you seen the videos. It wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and you now feel so disappointed. On the other hand, it could have gone over your expectation. And that's when excitement comes. Wow, what I heard was it was like this and like that, and look at it when I actually got there. The hotel sent a chauffeur car to come and pick me from the airport, and they zipped through the traffic, and by the time I got there was buffet at the entrance into the hotel, and oh my gosh, it was like heaven on earth. I have never seen anything like this. I am going back there again. I'm going to tell all my friends about this place. It is beautiful. It's amazing. It's beyond your expectation. Now, the gap happens when what you expected is not what you actually experienced. And so, I've connected this to our relationships with people. So, whenever we're interacting with people, maybe it's not like an advert where you've seen something and you heard something and you read something. You meet someone, for instance, a partner who eventually becomes your husband. Now, what happens most times is when you're courting, when you're dating, you go out to dinner and then he pulls the chair and you sit down. And then before you even think of what you're going to order, he's already ordered all this amazing stuff, because now he's beginning to know you. And the table is lined out the way beyond your expectation. You go, oh my gosh, this is the one for me. I found my, perfect match. I found my soulmate. And so, then you ask for your hands in marriage and you are over the moon. You're melting. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'll get married to you. It could be the other way around too. It could be the man who meets this amazing woman who meets all his expectations. Now I found out my broken rib that was taken away from Adam. And so you go enter the house, you become husband and wife. And now things start to change. Now, what I used to say in the past, funny, like here in the West, depending on where you are watching this video, when you go shopping and you buy something, maybe clothes, or shoes, or handbag, or makeup, or whatever, not makeup, some of the things based on hygiene, you really can't return them. But most things you allow 14 days return, 21 days return. I mean, you couldn't dream of that in Africa, in Nigeria, where I come from. I mean, I actually went to the market once where I enjoy wearing jewelry like this, and this was coral beads. And I bought these coral beads from this shop in the market. And 2 steps down the next way, I saw another shop offering exact similar thing, coral beads. And I marched down there to ask, how much is it? And you're not going to believe the difference in price. It was shocking. And I'm thinking to myself, if this was back in the West, I'll probably march down to the first one and say, actually, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to buy this anymore. Can I have my money back? You wouldn't be dreaming of that in Nigeria. Once you bought, that's it, end of the road. So, I always used to imagine relationships like that, especially with husband and wife. Now you become husband and wife, or you become boyfriend and girlfriend. Say you decide to live together before you get married. And then you begin to notice it's not what you expected. It's not those chairs being pulled in the restaurant. It's not Oh, what would you have today, honey? It's not all of that sweetness and all that exciting moment, and you couldn't. I always make fun with my kids, and I tell them, at that stage when you're still dating, and it's like you're talking on the phone. Maybe he's in his house and you're in your house. And, oh, you drop. No, you drop. No, you drop, you drop. So you're so in love with each other, I can't drop until you drop. So all of that is no longer happening. And then now reality has hit. Maybe he drops all his clothes all over the floor and you're picking after him. Maybe you don't even wash the dishes and he's going into the kitchen and cleaning up. And suddenly both of you are hitting this stark reality like, is this really what this is going to be for the rest of my life? And so I'm thinking, we could have had a scenario where, you know what? Gap analysis, there's a gap. This isn't what I was thinking. Can I return back to the shop? Can I return this person back to his home? Can I walk away from this? Oh yeah, people do. People do. But what I usually say to relationships is, what you then have to do times like this is consider the good as well. I mean, I've had relatives who were struggling in relationships and they've called me but he's done this and he's done that and I really cannot deal with that. And I was like, okay, there was a time that he did something that you actually did like. Does he still do those things? How about consider, wait. That's why I say to people, just weigh both scenarios. These are the bad ones, these are the good ones. How does it net off? Can I handle the good against the bad? Because what you're going to find, especially with husband and wife relationships, is you're never going to meet the perfect one. There is no such perfect one. No one of us is perfect in any form. I mean, if you ask my husband, trust me, he'll tell you, oh my gosh, you can be a pain on my backside. And I'm used to that. My kids say the same thing to me. Why? Because sometimes I'm that kind of person, I'll just tell you how it is. This is what it is. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. Some people don't like hearing the truth. You know how they say, the truth hurts? So, I'm that kind of person. I would rather tell you as it is than let somebody else tell you. Oh, there's a lady I met once, with my clients. And we were just chatting and she's saying, my mom was like, if I don't tell you, life will tell you. And that's so interesting because there's this book I have in laws, I think this particular one. He's talking, they call it Walking with the Laws. Seriously, what are the laws? The laws are mainly nature. That's the way nature operates. Nature does not lie to you. And most times some people say, oh, it's not fair. Life is not fair. That's nature for you. Nature is not fair, but nature is just. And that's one of the things I found out from this book. Nature will not lie to you. It's like, what example can I give you? Say you live with your parents and they're providing everything for you and you're feeling on top of the world. I've got the best parents in the world. And then, God forbid, something drastic happens. I mean, there's another book I have which is quite interesting, and feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what that book is called. And it was similar story. This lady got married to this amazing guy who provided everything for her. Everything she wanted. She never lacked. She never lacked anything. And then, for that reason, she didn't go out of her way to look for anything. She was quite comfortable, married to the best man on earth who gave her everything she wanted. And as nature will have it, the man passed on. He passed on, or he became very ill and was now in a position not able to do anything that he used to do before. He was now disabled. And then her world was turned upside down. And now what could she do? Things that she couldn't do in the past, things that she avoided doing in the past, she now had to face them. And that's how nature handled that scenario. So when these children say to you, my parents are the best parents ever on earth, and then nature comes knocking, something happens to the parents, what will that child do? How's that child going to cope? Because now nature has stepped in, you have to face your reality. Now you're all by yourself. How are you going to cope with that? I mean, when my daughter was going to university for the first time, when your kids are home and you're trying to instill discipline into them, when you finish eating, do your dishes, go to the shop, buy things, you're sending them around, because that's how you train your children for the future. You start to prepare them. I enjoy doing that because I know it's going to come, whether you like it or not. You're not going to live at home with your parents forever. And so when my daughter finally went to university, now she was on her own, doing her own thing. And she called me and she was thanking me, Mom, thank you so much. There are so many students in school who don't even know how to boil water. They've never done anything in their house. The parents don't let them touch anything. Is that how you want your children to struggle with life? And that's one of those scenarios where that, customer was telling me how mom used to say to her, if I don't teach you, nature will teach you. So if you're not willing to take on my advice, my message, my little understanding of what I know now that I'm sharing with you, and you'll find me irritating, you'll find it annoying. I mean, my daughter says to me, Mom, you're too, there's a word she uses, you're too judgmental. I said, I'm not judging, I'm just telling you as it is. But then we have our fights. Yeah. Because if you don't tell them now, someone will tell them. And that scenario may not be very good, it will be ugly. Example, they end up working in someone's office. And the person says, why are you doing things this way? Why are you not doing things that way? Suddenly, they start to feel bad. It leads to another thing. But see, that's where this message is coming from. Expectations, gaps, disappointments. So you have the husband-wife relationship, disappointment, people get frustrated, people feel sad, people feel angry, people feel insecure, all kinds of things goes on, and then what happens? Breakup. Breakup is happening. What then happens? Children are left in the middle. Children have to go through difficult times because things are broken up between relationships, and this just carries on. And because this child has developed this, their own children experiences this too, and that's how the messed up life we have most times happen. Because most of us are not prepared to handle disappointments. But see, the message here is disappointments will always happen whether we like it or not. The way life is, there is nothing out there that guarantees you that life is going to be perfect. Even the Bible says it. I didn't promise you perfection. I didn't promise you that you were never going to have any problem. I mean, like I said in the other, the last video we had, the Bible is a living history. Every problem we are dealing with here now has happened before. It's nothing new. And so what you're going to find is lots of people get so emotionally drained from these disappointments that are normal, and then it affects their life. It stops you from living a normal life. And when we say normal now, we're not saying it should be perfect. I mean, I read something somewhere, I can't remember what it says. It said, problems have come my way and they will always come my way. But I wear them well. I wear them well. Why do you wear them well? Because you're not going around town screaming at the top of your voice and crying your hearts out and say, mine is the worst. There's nobody's problem that's worse than the other. It's just a matter of, how do I put it, percentage or the way you look at it. Because it comes that problem. And so, when it comes to relationships, we need to understand that there is no perfect person out there. What you want to do is look at your unique scenario and see how you can handle it. So, there's this gap. How do I handle this gap? How do I take it such that I can still carry on my life without feeling so frustrated, so broken, and so lost? Okay, so the bigger message here is, no matter what relationship you have, remember we're saying overcoming that relationship gap. No matter what relationship you have, and I'm referring to relationship as any interaction with another human being. Now, this cuts across everything. So, relationship you have with your best friends, there will be gaps. Because you did not create your best friend. You are not in your best friend's head. Your best friend is not in your head. You are unique. Your best friend is unique. So there are things you expect from your best friend. And it may not be what you're expecting that you actually experience. That becomes the gap. That gives you trauma. That gives you pain. That gives you anger, sadness, upset. People get into depression. I mean, one of the things I was going to even look at, I read this, or if you follow me on Facebook, I post these things when I come across them. The statistics on the number of suicide in a year is shocking. Shocking. And here we are, locked down because there's a virus killing 100,000 people. This statistic shows millions of people who get fed up with life and they take their own lives. So, what is causing this? What is getting to this point that this depression is happening? That this sadness is happening? That this anger is happening? The gap in relationships. So, the relationship may be between you and your best friend. Relationship may be between you and your parents. I am a parent, I know. Because you know the weird thing, most times we just feel that because children are so young, they have no problems. And so, in their head, in their way of thinking, the parents have disappointed them. Why? Because there are things they are expecting. I mean, they will not understand because they're kids, and so in their thinking, I asked my mom for X, my mom didn't give me. I asked my dad for Y, dad didn't give me. Now I'm so upset, I'm so angry, I hate the world, I've had it, I'm done with it. Disappointment. Gap. There are also gaps between parents and children. Especially when your children start maturing and becoming adults, and then you have expectations. I mean, recently I had that. I just had my birthday, and I am that kind of person who gets excited about everybody else's things. And then when it's my birthday, people don't get excited, and then I feel so disappointed. I feel disappointed with my husband, I feel disappointed with my kids, I feel disappointed with my relatives, and then I get so flustered in my head, and I'm getting so wound up, and I get so worked up, and then I realize it's a gap. Why is it a gap? Because I have expectations that I have in my head, and their reality is not connecting with mine. And so what do? It's not for me to now get so wound up and then I say, I'm not talking to you guys anymore because you didn't get excited on my birthday and blah, 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 blah. That's what happens. And then you get parents having these big fights with their kids, kids getting these big fights with parents, best friends having big fights with their friends, relatives having big fights with relatives, uncle, auntie, and the list goes on. Even in the workplace. In the workplace, your boss has an expectations of you. And when you're here at 9 o'clock and then maybe you're strolling at 9:05 or 9:30, why are you coming at 9:30? Oh yeah, the traffic was so bad and I couldn't, and then argument starts. And then I asked you to finish that project by so day. Why have you not finished it? Expectation, disappointment. Or even in university, in schools, they've given you a deadline to finish your assignment. You haven't finished it, disappointment. And so these things exist everywhere. I mean, we have disappointment with the system, with the government. You expected, I mean, this one is even worse for those of us in the Western world. We have expectations of the government. They're supposed to have done this and done that and done that. I mean, in Africa, most times you can, how far can your expectation go with your government in Africa? They don't care. And so you rely on you. But in the Western world, they care. And so people start taking governments to tax. You promise, especially during elections, and they have this manifesto, and then they come with all these things, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then when they get into power and that is not happening, people get disappointed. They promised they were going to do, why did they not do it? And so you get all wound up and everyone's going crazy. That's what they call gap. So the message here is gaps are always going to be there. That's a big message. Gap will always be there. And I'm sending this message to children as well in particular. Because what happens with children, they take it too far. I mean, for us adults, we get to a point where we start to take it, okay, whatever happens, happens. That's life. I can handle it. But most young people don't get that. They just think because their parents don't care, that's why their parents didn't give them what they asked for, that's why this is happening to me. And the one that really does hurt is, then it becomes because of. Because this happened, that's why this has happened to my life. Because you didn't give me the money I asked for, that's why my grades are falling. Because you didn't give me the money I asked for, that's why I'm ending up with the wrong gang of friends. Because you didn't do, so you look for, that's what I call excuses. You hide under, this has not happened, and this is why this has happened. But see, one of the things I found out, which is really amazing, is these gaps are actually necessary for your growth. The gaps are necessary for your strength. And one of the programs I'm bringing up, I call it Protect Your Mess. Mess being your mental ability, your emotional ability, and your spiritual ability. These are the things that make you who you are. And what happens is the minute something hasn't happened right, and you begin to have issues with yourself over that, it affects you. I mean, there's something about our mind. The mind can only take one thing at a time. I've mentioned that over and over on this channel. Once you've engaged your mind with this anger about your parents not giving you what you want, or your best friend not being there for you when you wanted them, or your sibling not understanding your personality, or your husband being the worst ever there is, once you engage your mind with that, that's what will happen to you. When they say law of attraction, that's all you're going to be seeing. You'll be seeing more and more of the negative side of this person, and before you know it, you're digging deeper and deeper into yourself, and things start to go bad and bad and bad for you. And before you know it, the whole purpose of life, your whole mission of life, this amazing creation that you are, with all the capabilities that you have, will disappear because you've allowed some negative experience to hold you down. And so the bigger message here is we need to understand that gaps will happen. That gaps are part of life. That gaps are actually there to strengthen you. They help you know yourself better. Say you're disappointed. What do you then do? You learn from it. You become wiser. I mean, what I say is you're not going to be a fool for that person again, Okay, for instance, I was waiting for my friend to come pick me up, and then we needed to go somewhere, and my friend didn't show up. Okay, next time I'm not going to trust my friend again if my friend says I'm going to come pick you up. Because now you know that kind of person, you know the kind of person that your friend is. And sometimes on your friend's part, probably forgot that they told you they were coming to pick you up. Okay, you're not going to kill them because that's who they are. All you now take into your understanding is this person is not reliable, and that's fine. I'm not going to put my trust in this person again. But you know what? It doesn't stop him from being my friend. Because when there's need for me to have this person as a friend, I will still find use for this person. And so these are just instances. Because I know there are, difficult scenarios, there are bigger scenarios, there are times when this disappointment is so heavy, and some people get it so worked up in their head that I will never forgive this person. That's not what GAP is about. GAP is about understanding that this happens and you have learned from it. It has made you wiser. It's not meant to break you, it's meant to make you stronger. So I'm hoping this is giving you some message. I'm hoping this is making you more aware of what's out there. I mean, one of the ones that really touched me recently that I came across, I saw this message on my WhatsApp, and this lady explained this scenario. It was so touching. He said, this lady went to the bank, and on her way into the bank, this is like in Africa now, and I can see this scenario because this type of scenario happens a lot in Nigeria. You get to the bank and there's a long queue to get in. Because what they have this weird thing at the door is like a security door where you have to go through and then they scan you, I don't know what they're scanning for, maybe guns or whatever, before you go in. So it's not like you just open the door and walk in like we do here in the West. Banking hall open, you just walk in. So maybe there's this long queue to go in, and this lady walked past this other woman that was coming to get in and just shoved her on the side and walked past her and went into the banking hall. And so the lady that was shoved quietly followed her behind and then got into the banking hall and walked straight across to another department, the deposit side. While this lady went to the withdrawal side, she was going to go withdraw some money. So it turns out the withdrawal line was quite long. The queue to go withdraw money was really long. But the queue to go and deposit money in the bank was really short. She was the only lady there. So, weirdly enough, the lady who shoved her on the way in later came to her when she was just finishing her transaction and apologized to her and said, I'm so sorry for, being roughing you when you walked in. And the lady said, it doesn't really matter, it's okay, it's not a big deal. It's just that, in the end, our destinations were different. And that was such a massive message about life. Every one of us in this journey of life, we are all heading to a different destination. I mean, this is going to be one of the videos that will come out one of these days. The destination is different for all of us. And I've told anyone that cares to listen, even if it's your twin children, triplets, they're all the mission from God for each of these children is different. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your husband, your wife, whoever, we all have different destinations on this earth. That story just hit home for me. Because while we're rushing and roughing and, we get so angry with each other, we quarrel each other, we fight each other, we don't talk to each other, we keep malice, we bear grudges, you name it. We're envious of each other, we're jealous of each other. All of these things are so unnecessary. Because our destination is not the same. We need to be aware of that. So this is one of the biggest things I am working on in this channel, to empower you, to allow you find who you are, so you can see life in a different view. You don't let things bother you anymore. Because especially where I come from back home in Africa, everybody is being killed by another person. Something happens to somebody, it's somebody else's fault all the time. We don't connect anything with our creator. We don't see why something hasn't happened right, and we talk to our creator and we say, guide us, support us, lead us. No, it is that person's fault. Is that auntie's fault? Is that uncle's fault? Is that best friend? Why? We need to come out of it. That's my mission. To try and pull all of us, to inspire you, to empower yourself. Because once you can empower yourself, there is nothing you cannot achieve on this earth. I mean, people look at me most times and then, you get the ones who want to find every fault they can find about me. I don't really care, because my mission is not yours. My destination is not yours. I am constantly updating myself. So one of my biggest concerns is this lockdown is understanding what is really going on with Africa. Why are we so behind? Why is the rest of the world so ahead of us? Yes, our governments are corrupt and things have gone so wrongly for us. But we are still all educated. We are meant to be able to carry on the knowledge we've gained from going to university and all of that, and create a better lifestyle for ourselves in Africa. But none of that is happening. So these are the questions I'm asking. And I have invested in books upon books upon books because I want to find answers to these questions. So I'm constantly updating myself. I'm constantly devouring knowledge, trying to know. And that's why I advise you to do the same. I mean, I'm working on something where I'm definitely going to come up with a book club where we all look at what are the solutions to the problems that we face. And then, when people then look at you and they go, oh, but you're always doing this and why you're always changing? Because I have that capacity to change. I have that capacity to improve on myself. I mean, this is one of the really, really great books that I like to read and talk about. This man, at the age of 15, he didn't go to school anymore because his parents were poor. He couldn't afford going to school. And so what did he do? He was just traveling the world. And in the end, he started writing his experiences and became one of the richest men there were at the time. It's called Louis L'Amour, Education of a Wandering Man. That's what the book is called, in case you're interested. And when you hear messages like this, it gives you hope. Because Africa should not be in the situation that it's in. All of us with the knowledge, with the how do I put it? Inspiration, knowledge, a brain, intellect, discipline. All of us want to run away from our continent. And then we're left with people who don't even know what's going on. So now that we've got all this knowledge, shouldn't we take it back and use it to support our system? These are the questions I ask. So that's the kind of thing I want you to do as well. I want you to look at your neighborhood, look at your environment, look at your home. Because every one of us got something out there in the head that can change our lives, that can inspire other people, that can support other people. We can all live a healthier, happier, enjoyable life if we seek knowledge. If we search for knowledge. I mean, it's one thing to just sit down there and blame everyone, but this law, working with the laws, tells us the truth. Are we curious enough to know things? Are we hungry enough for knowledge? Are we seeking knowledge? So, these are so many questions that we're going to be dealing with going forward from this channel. Inspiring you to empowerment. Inspiring you to empower yourself. Because I found out that it's not just going to university that will empower you. I found out that it's not just, blaming everybody that will empower you. I found out that it's not just looking up to the government and looking up to your family and looking up to your best friends and looking up to your husband or looking up to your wife that will empower you. Empowerment comes from you. Comes from you. You are the one who will seek it. And so that destination that God has provided for you is out there waiting for you. And you have to go and reach out to it. So I'm going to stop here today, and thank you so much for watching our videos and for being part of our channel. We cannot, thank you enough. Please remember to share it with your friends who are trying to improve their lives as well. And remember to, follow us on all our various social media platforms. We're on Instagram. I have a lot I do on Instagram, Joy Fido. I do a lot too on Facebook, Joy Fido. And so, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Bye for now.